Hello and welcome to the Of Myths and Men podcast, the only podcast that Kim K records her sex tapes to. I'm your host, Adam Holcomb,
Wait a minute.
and I am joined by co-host Dylan Blumenberg.
Who were you talking about?
Kim K.
Who is that?
Kim I don't know if I can say it.
Kardashian.
Allegedly.
She shall who not be named. Boy, I fucked that
up. That's going to be the episode title. She shall who not be named. And we did a lottery this time for our special guest. We handed out 100 cards, and one of them you could scratch it off. They were scratch-off cards. And one of them you'd scratch it off, and it was a dick. And the person who got the dick is Valia. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, everybody, just chatting shit, getting banged.
Adam, where'd you hand out these cards at the idiot store?
Or more like at the jerk store.
Hey.
We're all out of you.
Oh. Now I'm sad.
Our podcast brings together 3 unknowledgeable individuals who spend a day pretending to be experts on mythology. Each week we will discuss a different god or creature, rotating out the lead mythologist. We will discuss its habits, its attitudes, we will tell a tale, and we will end on a debate on who would win in a mythological fight club. Today's lead mythologist will be myself.
Yes.
Yeah. I know you're excited.
I was doing finger guns that whole time you were doing that intro.
Hey.
Finger guns.
If you send me money in the mail, you get a link to the visual representation of this podcast, where you can see Valia doing finger guns the whole time.
Right.
Is this a video or like a painting or something? Like an artist?
It's the video version of the podcast.
Oh. I'm not
the
recording
audio
The
version
video
of that.
feed. Yeah, the video feed.
Are you recording my video?
Only special. Yeah. Shh.
Where are the cameras?
I want them to send me money.
Can you guys hear the finger guns?
Yeah. You gotta turn it down, to be honest.
Yeah. Sweet.
I think it's echoing through Dylan's mic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty loud finger guns. I'll holster these bad boys.
Put them away.
Holstered.
All right. Good job putting them away. All right. So the creature I chose today, he or she, and it goes by many names. Many names. Such as Acaphaloi. Anyone know what it is yet?
I'm pretty sure
Agathaloi?
that's not how you pronounce it, I'll say that much.
Acaphaloi?
Mm.
Acaphaloi?
I don't even know what this is, but it just doesn't sound right.
Falui? It's Acaphaloi. That's what it is.
I'm gonna look it up.
No, wait.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Other times it's known as blemmies. You know it, Nat? Anyone?
Yep.
Anyone? But do you know what they are most commonly known as?
Herpes.
A little late.
Podcast too late for that herpes joke.
Call back.
It's the Headless Men.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the Headless Men. We will be discussing these today. I think this works best if eventually you guys get a visual representation, but for now I will go over names. If you just Google Headless Men, you'll find it. It's perfect. The name Acaphaloi originates from the Greek word for headless ones, unsurprisingly. Whereas Blemmies is apparently a name based off of a king of almost the same name. And his name was King Blemmies, but spelled slightly different. A couple of other suggestions on where the name came from. Some people think it was the Hebrew words meaning without brain, which really just implies that the Headless Men don't have a brain, and that is not true. That's just mean.
Well, where is
Not
their
true
brain
at all.
then?
I'll get there.
Right
I'll
in the
get
tip.
there. When I describe them, I'm
Spoiler.
like they look like a headless man.
Did you say right
They
in the
aren't
tip?
one.
Yeah.
What tip?
You know the tip. You know what men...
What?
What's the saying of men, what they think with?
No, what do you mean?
It's their
I'm
penis.
confused.
Oh,
Shit.
oh my goodness.
You can't say that on this podcast. This is family friendly.
I didn't say anything. I said their genital warts.
Their genital elongation.
Yes. The shaft.
Some people also think blemies comes from the Greek words look, glance, and close the eyes, which really just doesn't make sense. I don't know how a combo of those words really describes this creature at all, unless close the eyes means you don't want to look at it because it's creepy. Wolfgang Helk, a man who knows a thing or two about names, believes that blemies was derived from the Coptic word for blind, which is also inaccurate because these guys have eyeballs and can see, which I'll get to with the description, unless you guys have anything to say.
Is this all Hebrew, like, not representations, but, like, this is all just Hebrew names for it?
This was where blemies came from, the name blemies.
Oh, okay.
So, like, the Hebrew words for without brain might be blemies, kind of made the word blemies. Same for the Greek words look, glance, and close the eyes combined. And Wolfgang thinks the Coptic word for blind is also blemies, where it came from. But that just doesn't make sense. None of those make sense except for me. Well, no, none of them make sense.
I looked up images of the Headless Men. There's a photo of a dude taking a selfie, and he photoshopped his head off. So I get the brainless one. Cause
that's
it's
not.
It's. I imagine that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Sure.
This is. Oh, I see what you're talking about.
There's also a picture of it looks like Richard Nixon. I think that is.
What did you Google?
Yeah, I think that is
Headless Men.
I don't know.
No, it's
Headless Men.
The Duchess of Argyll.
Yeah, that's not
I
the
am
Duchess of Argyll.
definitely not getting this.
Just Headless Men. Safe search
That's
off.
what I have. I don't think my stage surf is on. That's really weird. I'm getting not that.
Bill Lyons is the original Headless Man.
To bring it back,
right.
I see what you're talking about here, where the brain is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to get into the description of this thing, it looks like a man without a head, to be completely honest. That's what it looks like. But...
Or a head without a man.
No, that's...
Think about that.
Opposite.
Not at all.
The manless head.
It's literally the opposite.
No. Wouldn't the manless head just be a head? Only a head?
Yeah.
Missing a man.
All right, Valia. You only have 5 more minutes that you can talk.
Okay.
We're never doing a fucking lottery again. This was a terrible decision, Dylan.
Hey, I didn't pass him out. I just made him.
And you might ask, how does a creature live without a head?
Good question.
And thank you. Thank you for saying I had a good question on my own thing.
I would also like to know the answer.
Thank you, Dylan.
I'm
the
fine
answer
with not
is... Fuck you, Valia. The answer is, it's not that it doesn't have a head, it just looks like it doesn't have a head. But it has a face on its torso. Its entire torso is its face. Yeah.
Do you think as like a kid, they would get called like torso face?
By the other ones?
Yeah, but the other kids were like,
but the other
torso face over there.
That's like calling someone 2 ears. Hey,
Yeah.
old 10 fingers over there. What's wrong with you?
Look at fucking 10 fingers.
2 legs.
Thinks he's so great.
You fucking dummy with your 2 legs.
He's missing a head. Kids would definitely make fun of you for that. They're ruthless.
Not if the kids were other blemmies.
No, but he's going to like a school with regular kids, human kids that have heads. And
His
they're
parents couldn't afford private school.
Exactly. They couldn't afford to go to Headless Man school.
All right. To get more onto this discussion, the eyes are kind of where your nipples would be, and the mouth kind of where your belly button is. That's face. Whole thing, face. And that's literally the only like real big difference between a human and a headless man.
So in like a makeout sesh, the chick is kissing this dude's belly button, and he's just staring over the top of her. Is that what happens?
Yes. That would be if a human female was making out with a headless man. That's what it would be like.
Or woman.
Be really hard to 69.
It would.
Alright. The Blemmies apparently have two different versions. There are the chest eyes guys and the shoulders eyes guys. And it might be hard to understand the difference, but the difference is that the chest eyes guys have eyes on their chest, kind of where their nipples are, and the shoulders eyes guys have eyes up more by their shoulders.
You don't need to run through that again. I don't think Dylan got it.
Yeah, that I perfectly understood what you're talking about.
I don't think he got it.
And some people believe that the chest eyes guys and the shoulders eyes guys aren't actually two different versions, but rather two different genders
But they're both
of the
guys.
same creature. No, well, I mean, guys is a gender-neutral term in this concept.
Adam, I'm going to ask the question
Just like-
that everyone's wondering. Where are their dicks in this situation?
The same spot.
What? That can't be. So their dick is like 6 inches away from their mouth?
Yeah.
You know what that means?
I'm going to check out Rule 34 later.
Yeah.
But they kind of, I think it's kind of similar to how, like, what Pokemon's doing nowadays,
With
where they
dicks close
vary
to
the
their-
Pokemon. No. That's Rule 34. But where they vary the Pokemon a little bit based off of gender, like there's Pikachu and then there's female Pikachu, and female Pikachu has a heart-shaped tail.
And
Nidoran.
there's headless Pikachu with a mouth close to his penis. The best
Yes.
one.
I like to get that one every time I play
Yeah.
Pokemon
He's so rare.
Orange.
Orange.
For dressing wise, sometimes they wear basketball shorts, sometimes loincloths. They like to be a little athletic, so they want some freedom for their legs. And they never wear shirts, obviously. I mean, unless they're robbing a store or something. Because
That's a good
it would
image.
just make it hard to see.
What about hair?
Oh, I'm about to get there.
Yeah.
So they're hairless on top, but some of these guys don't wear anything for shorts or undies. They actually just grow their beard out, and then it just droops down and covers their indecency.
Nice.
That's pretty creative, I gotta be honest. That's
So the
pretty good.
beard is basically just the hair above like the pubic region, basically.
Yeah.
And if they grow their mustache out really long, they can like tie it around behind them and drag their beard underneath and just tie it all together in the back.
Like a loincloth.
They got a real
Yeah.
shitty beard, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that'd be kind of gross. They're known to grow as tall as 12 feet and sometimes grow 7 feet fat.
So they're just a giant ball sometimes.
Well, 12 feet tall, 7 feet wide. That's more oval.
It's still it's not oval, man. It's a giant ball.
You know what
It is
really,
oval, but you know.
You know what would really bring them into proportion? Having a head.
I think that's what really makes them look like a ball.
Yeah.
Just with arms.
They were said to be born and raised in the Nile system, which is honestly better than the foster care system here in the U.S.
You mean in UK?
Yeah, here in the UK. We're recording live in the UK.
We're in Essex.
Essex. We moved from London to Essex.
Cheaper studio.
It's only £5 an hour, as long as we're willing to do some sketchy stuff after.
Didn't the
Pub's
Beatles
just down the
record here?
corner.
What?
Didn't the Beatles record here?
Right in this room.
Oh, wow.
Was one of them headless? It was Paul, wasn't it?
It was their unreleased
Little known.
sixth
Little
album.
known Paul. Paul was a headless man.
Yeah.
Later accounts, though, believed that they were actually just living on an island in Brisone River, or India. One of the two. No one's real sure.
You talking about John
it's either-
Lennon?
I'm talking about the Headless Men.
Oh, okay.
John Lennon might have. I don't know. But yeah, so it's either a small island in the Brisone River or India, which is a rather large country.
That's
So
true.
no one's real sure. No one's real sure where they live, where they did live, where they are currently living. I'll get to that a little bit. But the first person to talk about these creatures was Herodotus. You guys know him?
Yeah.
I used
Good
to
old
go to
Herodotus.
gym class with him.
Gym class?
Yeah.
What'd you
What
play?
gym? Yeah.
Badminton.
Mint in?
Badminton, yeah. How do you guys say it?
Badminton?
It's badminton.
Are you
Is
saying
there
it with an
at the end
N?
there?
Yeah. Well, how do you say it?
It
I
is
don't get it.
spelled badminton.
Yeah.
It is spelled badminton.
No, M-I-N-T-O-N.
Minton.
So badminton. That's how you say it. Is it not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is, but we're in the UK, so we don't pronounce it that way.
Yeah. That's a good point.
All right. Herodotus was the first to speak of these creatures, and he referred to them by their a.k.a. name. And it was in his premiere novel called Histories. Came out in 440 BC or around there somewhere. And the second person to write about the Headless Men, he's kind of a star of this podcast. He referred to them as the Blemmies, and he was none other than Pliny the Elder.
Dude, good old Pliny making a comeback.
I know. I said there were 3 stories that I loved by him.
And
We
this
talked
is
about
one.
one. We'll talk about another.
Was that on Oprah's book list? Or book club?
Yeah, for 2,458 years running.
What happened with the sex scandal that he had?
Oprah?
Got
No,
brushed under the carpet.
Yeah.
It kind of like phased out. It didn't happen during the right time, so people didn't care too much.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sexism during that time, so they're like, he can do whatever he wants.
No.
It was really bad.
He was fiddling little boys, I heard.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway,
Fiddle away.
Pliny described them as having no heads, their mouths and eyes seated in their breasts. And I like Pliny most of the time, but this is a poor description, because as we just talked about before, their mouth is definitely seated more towards their navel.
He was
not
just
their
wrong.
breast. Yeah, I mean, he might not have gotten a good look. There weren't cameras back then, so he couldn't take a picture to make it last longer.
Are there female variants, like with larger?
Yeah, remember there's the
breastises?
chest size guys and the shoulder size guys?
No, I mean
One
like
of-
in
one of
terms
those
of
is female.
shape of body.
Yeah,
No.
how do their boobs work?
They don't have boobs. They don't breastfeed.
What?
Because their eyes are there.
Do they have belly buttons?
No, their mouths are at their belly buttons.
They can
How
have
do
a belly
bellies
button in
breathe?
their mouth.
They don't have one in their mouth. Their mouth is just in place of their belly button.
I'm going to go on a limit here and say you don't know what you're talking about.
I have researched this topic for at least 15 minutes.
What's your accreditation?
I have a paint drawing of a headless man, and next to it says Adam knows everything
Oh wow,
with the E's backwards.
it's insane. Where'd
I
you get
printed
that?
it off. University of
Here it comes.
Wygoma.
Oh, Wygoma? You're a Wygomat?
Yeah.
Crazy, man. I knew a guy that went there.
Was it?
You know, you guys talked a lot about colleges every now and then, and I just really wanted the experience, so I went there for 15 minutes and got this diploma.
Went to Wyomega, huh?
Wygoma.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wyoming. Got it.
No. Alright, I want to talk a little bit about Alexander. He once captured 30 of these headless guys and wanted to show them around the world. Unfortunately, something must have gone wrong, because if he did show them around the world, I feel like we would have known more about them. And no one knows where they live. So I don't know how Alexander got them.
Well, he hit that, right? Alexander was a freak. Like,
Yeah.
he absolutely messed a boot with one of them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure.
Just want to make sure our audience knows.
There is a painting of Alexander and 2 headless men just going to town on each other.
How does that work?
Jeez.
Why do you need 2?
You never heard of a threesome?
I have, but like, how does it work with 2 of these headless guys?
The same way.
Because it's where the mouth is positioned. That's where it all links together.
Well, I mean,
You're doing your threesomes wrong if you're doing it the other way.
you got other areas.
Maybe Alexander was laying down.
They have butts.
One of them was on his dick,
What?
the other on his face.
Oh my goodness.
And they stared at each other because there wasn't enough body to lean forward to do any smooches.
Yeah, no kidding.
Polly, are you still there?
Discord crashed.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
Technic.
yeah,
Are you
there it
back?
is.
Yeah, Discord crashed on me.
You motherfucker.
I'm like, Polly is oddly silent during this.
What'd I miss?
We were talking about the sex position that
Oh,
could
yeah.
work. Alexander lying down, 1 headless man on his dick, 1 headless man on his face. And then the 2 headless men staring at each other.
Okay.
All right.
Oh man.
I want that to be on Rule 34 subreddit.
By the
No.
end of the night.
Whoever, if there's any artists listening, do me a solid. The Blimies are or have found their mark in history by appearing as map models. You can look at almost any ancient map, and there will be at least 1 headless man, if not hundreds, on it. And
You're
I think
telling
they're
me-
successful.
I don't
You're
think
telling me
you're
if
right.
I went and buy an ancient map right now, there'd be a headless man on it.
At least 1. Probably 13 to 82.
I don't believe you. I gotta go find a bazaar real quick and scope out a map.
You can do it after the podcast, okay?
Sweet. I'll go to Goodwill.
All right. Sounds good. And I think their success at this modeling career is probably how they were able to afford a private island on the Brisson River, because those run for at least $300.
300 bones?
I'm really not sure the price point, so I think it's at least 300.
Was this by today's money or back then when they're kicking around?
Yes.
So with inflation, that's like 300 million.
Dude, at least
At
less
least.
or more than 300 million.
It's a
But
number,
not
that's for
exactly.
sure. Yeah.
It might be a number. It could
Well.
be a value.
So, lots of people have been searching for them this whole time. Only some people found them sometimes, but then they disappear pretty quickly.
The
So
people
they're
looking for them?
incredibly good. No, the Blemmies,
Oh,
the
okay.
headless men. They're incredibly good hiders. This is literally the only good thing they've got going for them. So whoever the moderator is for the Fight Club, please help me use that to my advantage. That's the only good thing for them.
All right. Are they at least pretty strong though? I mean, they're like huge, so
They can
there's got to be other
huge.
advantages.
So they got a little bit of strength. I mean, they can beat up a human being, probably. I mean, I don't know. Alexander caught 30 of them by himself.
Who is this Alexander again?
The Great.
The Great?
Alexander
his
the Great.
last name.
Jeez. Well, no
Who the
wonder he
hell
caught
else
so
would I
many
be
of them
talking
then.
about?
Alexander Graham Bell.
All right, we'll move on to the tale. Mythology was created through an early form of storytelling, so we like to spend a little bit of time delving into the tale that involves our subject. We will be a little bit more in-depth with analyzation to better understand the story, and each week you'll be able to have a tale to bring home to tell your significant other, your stuffed animals, or your headless friend. And this
While you're
week...
doing it with them, high five.
No,
Nice.
I always got your back, Valia. It's 2 podcasts in a row I've high-fived you.
Thanks, bud.
Over the net. Alright, I mentioned last episode that Pliny, or not last episode, I mentioned 2 episodes ago that Pliny's basilisk story was in my top 3 favorite stories of his. Pliny the Elder, in case you weren't, any listener wasn't sure who we were talking about.
Oh, it wasn't the other Pliny?
Yeah, not Pliny the Younger.
Oh, okay. Pliny the middle-aged son?
Well, here's one of my other top 3 favorite stories by him. And this one's about the Headless Men. Ctesias.
Get on with... Oh.
Ctesias, Greek historian, c. 4th BC. That's circa 4th BC. Writes that... ... Westward from these, the troglodytoi of the Red Sea, coast of Africa, there are some people without necks, having eyes in their shoulders. Pliny the Elder.
That's it?
Natural history.
Jeez Louise.
Now this one, it's short, it's sweet, and it's cryptic. It's everything I love about Pliny.
It says nothing while saying a lot.
Exactly.
Pointless
But mainly
writing.
nothing.
You know what?
Mainly...
I'm going to leave an
I feel like
Amazon
there's-
review for this book. Hold
You're
on a
what?
second. I'm going to leave an Amazon review for Natural History by good old Pliny
Hop on
here.
Goodreads and
Subpar.
see what you can do.
Not enough
Yeah.
detail.
Does he reply ever?
It seems like he does once in a while, but I mean, he's just
Yeah,
stirring
ask for
up the
5-star
trolls.
reviews. I'll give you a free book for 5 stars.
Not going to happen,
Sign.
Pliny.
All right, I've got another tale, though. See,
Yeah.
Herodotus, he wrote about them as well, and he was a little bit more straightforward. See, Pliny came second, so we had to try to be unique, whereas Herodotus just wrote about them because he was the first, so it was going to sell like hotcakes. For the eastern, this is the story, by the way. For the eastern region of Libya, i.e. North Africa, which the nomads inhabit, is low-lying and sandy as far as the Triton River. But the land west of this, where the farmers live, is exceedingly mountainous and wooded and full of wild beasts. In that country are the huge snakes, and the lions, and the elephants, and bears, and asps, the horned asses, the
Dude.
dog-headed, also known as Kynocephaloi, the headless, also known as Akephalui, men that have their eyes in their chests, as the Libyans say, and the wild men and women, besides many other creatures not fabulous.
So a lot of these tales seem like they have probably at least some basis in fact. Where do you think this came from? Like, do you think someone just saw someone
Actually,
from afar?
this was part of my research. I found this out. What a lot of people think might be the case was that there was some warriors from the Libya area that would fight, and they didn't have helmets, so they would like hunch their shoulders up and bring their head down to their chest to protect it, and then they hopped around and fought like that. They looked kind of dumb. Yeah, and they think maybe someone saw one of them doing that, but who knows?
Well, I'm glad you had that right there.
Yeah.
I'm imagining it came from like some great emperor like Alexander or some shit. Like cut off a dude's head and it was just like, oh fuck, sorry bro, and then just like painted on a face on his chest. It
He
was like,
tied a
there you go.
dismembered head to someone's chest.
Yeah, and he just pretended like nothing happened. He kept talking to the guy.
It's a Weekend at Bernie's situation.
Exactly. That's how I'm imagining this whole thing started.
I could see it.
That's probably the actual answer.
Yeah.
It sounds like wherever they're living, there's some interesting creatures there, but also not a lot of not so interesting creatures, or not a lot of interesting
they got-
creatures also. Like
What did you say at
uninteresting
one
ones.
point? Dog-headed asses?
No. There are, let me repeat this, huge snakes
Not the whole thing.
and the lions and the elephants and bears and asps. The horned
That's a snake also, though.
the horned asses and the dog-headed, which are known as the Kynocephalio. Cephaloi. And the
I like
headless.
Known as
dog-headed.
dogs.
Are they really?
What?
Dog-headed. They got dog head.
Yeah,
Dogs.
no, it's just
I
like a
prefer
guy, but dog-headed.
asses.
It's like the Headless Men, but dog-headed
Dogs.
instead of headless. So I guess not really like them.
They're cousins, kind of, though.
Kind of. They have very
They don't have a
similar
human head.
names. It ends in Falui for both of them.
Yeah. Cousins. Typical.
But I don't know about you guys, but I am excited to talk about horned asses in the future.
Dude, most excited.
I like to get a good horned ass.
This one's ass, not asps.
I like horned ass.
Well, it's just a snake.
Is an asp a snake?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why does it say
Jesus,
snakes
Adam.
twice?
Where did you go to school?
Wygoma.
Oh,
University of
jeez.
Wygoma.
Apparently this is like a caterpillar, too. There's an asp caterpillar. You should look that thing up. It's pretty wicked looking.
Looking it up now. It's wicked.
Wow.
You better leave that in there.
Alright, I'm ready to get into this battle. I think my headless men are gonna kick some ass today.
Dog-headed
Can't
ass?
behead them.
What?
Dog-headed ass?
You know, there's a reason I didn't talk about the dog-headed, because the headless men are better than them.
You know what?
You can't behead them, is what I said. That's already an advantage.
I mean, you could still. You could just
No.
chop their torso in half.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it is.
No,
It's
it
literally
doesn't have
the
the
same.
same impact. It doesn't have the same impact. You ever chop someone's head off? It
Yeah.
was great.
Have you ever
chopping
chopped the
someone's
torso
torso
in
off?
half?
It's squishy and just poor, and it's like you didn't do anything at all.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, but chopping a head off, it's smooth, it's clean, it's tight, precise. Headless
Alright.
man, you can't do that.
So I'm hoping
No one's gonna
convinced.
feel
I'm
that.
hoping for my battle that's like my key point. I'm good at hiding, and it's not fun to cut my head off. One of the things people love to debate about is who would win in a fight. Would it be the cast and crew of Myths and Men, or the cast and crew of Truths and Women, which was a joke made in the previous podcast, so go back and check that one out. So in our Fight Club section, we indulge ourselves and talk about who would win in a mythological fight to the death. We will pit this week's subject against one discussed in an earlier podcast, and the lead mythologist will defend the subject. So I will be defending the Headless Men. And and then I get to challenge someone else, and I will challenge Dylan.
Oh no.
About to mod the shit out of this guy.
Okay, and as moderator, Valia is going to be the moderator, and he gets to choose Dylan's creature and the location of the fight and the rules if there are any. So let us have him,
Okay.
Valia.
So location first. It's gonna be like a really shallow. You know those like rice paddies you see in Asia that are really shallow? They just have water where they get the rice from.
Mhm.
It's that, but it has like 3-foot tall grass, right? But there's also little bits where there's decently tall trees that your guy can potentially hide behind. And you're gonna be fighting the leprechaun.
All right. I'll take first move. I duck into the grass and hide.
What is my creature?
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
Dude,
How are you ducking into the grass and hiding? You're 12 feet tall.
I fall flat onto the grass and I army crawl away.
Okay. You do that.
All right. Well, first of all, I grabbed some sake from the nearest sake vendor.
There's actually one right off
Tomato
the
rice.
swamp.
And, I mean, I gotta be honest. I just look for some weird fucking half-naked dude crouching really poorly
Hey.
in a rice paddy.
I'm not half naked. I'm one of the ones that's fully
Stop.
naked with a beard covering my genitals.
I stomp your dick in with some,
I trick you as
shit
you do that
stoppers.
and turn out to be one of the female ones,
What?
and then I punch the leprechaun repeatedly.
Dude, it still hurts.
Yeah, it still hurts a
Oh,
lady.
yeah, but
I mean,
my dick wouldn't go inside of me, at least.
I think, well, we should probably discuss if this is like a competition on me trying to find someone hiding. I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to work very well, even though that's your main thing. Like,
Because of the height of the grass and the height of you, it doesn't work.
Oh no,
yeah,
you
I'm
find
short as fuck.
you find me. I agree.
I
You
hire
You're
find
actually
me,
fighting.
and I agree that you attempt to kick my dick in. but I tricked you
All right.
because I don't have one.
So
And I punched you.
with all my gold, I hire a helicopter and someone to snipe out of it. And I just
No.
shoot you.
No? As the moderator, I'm blocking both of these moves. All right, I'm going to set the scene again. Same spot. You see each other, and you know you have to fight each other. That's your goal. There's no calling in snipers. And there's no hiding unless you're running and, hiding because you're about to die and you have a chance to hide.
I take a chunk of gold and whip it at you as soon as I see you. And
It
it knocks you
lands,
out.
dealing 12 damage.
12 out of how much?
I catch it in my mouth and spit it back.
Wait a minute. That doesn't work.
That would hurt.
Yeah, I'd break your teeth out.
Yeah.
And then you'd be
gold is
grabbing
soft.
your teeth off the ground, and I'd come up and kick you right in the rear.
I don't think the kick lands. You're too small.
What are you
That's
talking
now he has a
about?
chance to get you because you're so close. You're
You
moving.
still
pick him
up
up.
his teeth. You pick up the teeth?
No, I pick up the leprechaun.
Alright, I kick you in the eye.
I'm holding you afar.
No, it's
He's
not how
got
it works.
super long arms. He's holding you like you would a baby. Like it's swinging its legs. It's not doing anything.
I projectile vomit half-fermented sake onto your face and into your
I
eyes.
punt him.
And then fucking bite your little hands.
Punt lands, but now you can't see where he is because he's in the grass.
I think this is a fight between two things that are like unwilling to try to kill each other.
No, they're willing to kill each other, but they're also smart enough to know that they're not strong. Well, one is strong. They're smart enough to know that they need to use tactics. So at this point, you're hidden. What do you want to do?
Adam is hidden?
No, you are.
You're hidden because he just
Punted
punched you into
away.
the grass. You're very hurt. You're in this tall enough grass that you can walk around and not be seen.
Will you allow me to hire the townspeople?
There's no hiring.
Oh, come on.
All on you, bud. What
I
do you
don't
do?
have
You can
anything
sneak up on it.
There is
I don't
there
have,
is
like,
one
sneaking
worker.
skills.
Stab it.
There's one worker out there, but he's too honorable to take money to fight.
Jeez. Alright.
You have knives and stuff, right?
Gold ones?
It's a knife. You can stab things.
Alright, I
I
chuck
feel like
knives in every direction.
We talked about the
and
leprechaun
listen for a
having like
squeal.
diseased teeth. You can bite.
I did bite you. Well, I already
It also
bite
makes
you when
shoes. You could kick.
Did I? I already did kick you.
You didn't land any of those hits.
You told me I landed
As
him.
stated. Nope.
You said you landed a kick in the eye. His eye fell out. I grabbed the eye, stuffing it down his throat, and he chokes to death. I distinctly remember you saying that.
None of that happened. None
Well,
of that happened.
I do
But
that.
you're still hidden in the grass. You have 2 seconds to make a move. Go.
I throw a knife in every direction.
You can
to hear
see
which one
me.
hits.
I'm 12
Yeah, that's why I
feet
threw
tall.
it in every direction. Oh, I thought you said I couldn't see you. This is
Would
really
just
going off the
throw it.
rails.
Did I just stop
At
on the
this man.
leprechaun's fucking head?
Alright, I crawl through the grass using a reed as a snorkel. And then
You can walk, by the way.
bite your little toes off.
So you bite his toes?
Yeah, and then he's bleeding
Alright.
all over the place.
Probably disease.
That hurts a lot.
The rice field piranhas come in. They're biting away the rest of you.
I stomp
Before
down
you know it,
repeatedly
game over.
once I feel pain in my toes. I feel like one of
Both
my feet
both land.
crushes
Well-
his head.
Little did you know, I was actually just chopping off your toes with a gold knife. Cut your Achilles tendon right off.
Did you
Cool.
say Hercules?
No, Achilles.
Achilles.
I thought you said Hercules.
So you're
tendon.
falling on the ground, bleeding all over the place, and then I do the final blow of cutting your big, thick neck, which is also your stomach area. You just slice it right open.
Alright, hold up. So here's what's landed.
How much damage
Knife
did I
throw
land?
landed. Knife throw landed. 1, which did hurt. But as you were so close to him, the stomp also landed, which in turn, the cutting of the Achilles also landed. Big guy falls on you, though.
I stab my way through him.
Do you do anything as he's attempting to stab his way through you, Adam?
I try to bite him because he's probably in front of me.
No, I'm behind you.
No, you're on top of
Yeah.
him.
Moving upward.
Oh, that's right. Your mouth is your belly.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bite as he stops. So he like goes in the mouth probably. Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna
Part of it, like
fuck
his
that
hand.
mouth
I
up.
feel like
I'm not
at
gonna
this
go down without a
point-
fight.
At this point, by the time I chomp him to death, he probably also cut me to death. So people will come across this strange like scene where this headless man's laying face forward with a leprechaun coming out of him like Alien,
Yeah.
and they're both
Somebody's
just
rice
dead.
patty is ruined. Okay, I'm gonna call it this way. So as you were, because he was in your mouth, you were also attempting to stab his mouth, and you did bite. You bit his hand off, but because he is so diseased, you definitely caught something. Thing is, leprechaun in this situation dies first, so you kind of won, but at the same time, you really did.
I should never.
I'll take it.
I should never have followed Alexander.
Probably
That's
not.
what happens.
So yeah, I think more often than not, headless guy would win, but leprechaun has a chance because he's quick and cunning and has those knives, and headless guy just seems like honestly like a little bitch.
Dude, he does. He's a big mouth fucker.
Yeah, I do honestly believe that the headless man is pretty much a little bitch.
All right, he does win this fight though, based off how I depicted the fight in my head.
Biting folks in half.
The win. All right, so leprechaun loses, headless man wins this one, but just barely because he pretty much dies shortly later because of disease.
I'll take it. My life was miserable.
Good. Enjoy it.
All right. Today we learned about the headless men, also known as blimies, also known as a.k.a, and a bunch of other names. He basically looks like a headless man, but not a faceless man because his face is just his whole fucking torso. Instead of nipples, he has eyeballs. Instead of belly buttons, he has just a mouth. There's a nose right somewhere in the between there, around his diaphragm. And that's really like all there is to know about this thing. It's not special in any way. It can be tall. It can be up to 12 feet tall, 7 feet fat, but that's it.
Sounds like Dylan,
Jeez.
No, he's 7.5 feet tall.
but he's tall and not special. Took it too far.
We told a tale about Herodotus and Pliny and when they saw this creature and talked about it and described it. And we had a very unwilling fight between the leprechaun and the headless man that was bloody, just awful, and ended with the headless man barely eking out a win against the leprechaun and dying immediately after.
Dude, that all he wanted to do was get drunk off sake in the strange new land, and then this fucking head dude attacks him, and he's like, what's going on here? I'm gonna be fighting this fool.
I don't think that's how it went down.
That was exactly how it went down.
I watched the fight on pay-per-view, and that is not how it went down.
Is your cat going nuts?
Yeah, she
Definitely
is.
is.
Alright,
Should have the cat fight the big guy.
just wanted to check. If you've enjoyed what you heard, please swing by iTunes to leave a rating and review. The ratings help us get seen on iTunes, help us spread, and hopefully become a better podcast. And you can also send us positive vibes. Follow us on Twitter at Myths and Men. And we hope to see you next week when we talk about something else.
Meow.
Meow. The music you heard on this podcast is called Call to Adventure by Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech.com. It is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license.
Last time on Of Myths and Men.
Hermes had to fight for his life against the basilisk and the siren and the leprechaun and the hellhound.